Corey and Joe here for another episode. Been on a 2-week break due to Christmas and
New Year's,
traveling and holidays and sick. And I dumped boiling water on myself. Now I got an ear infection. I still can't hear out of my left ear.
But the right one's good.
Yeah, so that's why he's over here. And that's where he always sits.
Okay, that just worked out really well.
Yeah. So back to talk about what we seemingly always talk about. We are going to do a little bit different format where we try to switch topics every 7 or so minutes, get a couple things covered. We didn't have a great topic for this week, but
just a couple of random points.
Yeah. So one, just a little disappointed nobody watched our video from 2 weeks ago. I think it had 28 views. We didn't post the link on our private page. We're hoping more people are going to watch public, so we'll fix that. But if you're watching this and you haven't watched that, please go back and watch that. We talk about why we do fitness. Makes us a little more human, hopefully. Yeah. And you understand that we understand your struggles.
We know what it's like. I was telling someone the other day, like, we know what it's like at every level of fitness. Yeah. Because we've been there.
Well, I don't really know what it's like at the elite levels, but.
Well, okay, yeah. Sorry, disclaimer. It stops about where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But everything up until then,
we've been on the very far downside. I'm sure people have had it worse. I'm not even going to pretend, but it's a shared struggle. I understand how it's to get started, how you can lose your way.
Neither of us were high school or collegiate athletes, I would say.
No, not unless you consider golfing. I never played. So our 2 videos ago, we talked about the Open. You got 60, 80 days to work on a skill, to come talk to a coach, to come do this and that. 0% of you have done it. I haven't seen anybody working on anything. I haven't had a discussion with anybody. And we're 40 days out from the Open now, give or take. Woo. And which means in 41 days to 61 days, I'm going to hear, man, I wish I had double unders. Or, man, I wish my toes to bar were better.
Something.
Dang, I wish I could have done wall walks better in the Open.
But by then, I don't want to say it's too late, because it's never
too late to start.
But for this Open,
you're running out of time.
I say now, you
tomorrow,
still got time.
Now, grab a PVC, do something, start.
Work on. I was telling someone the other day, the fastest way to get stronger, fastest way is to get more mobile.
You have to be able to own the positions.
So it's never too late while you're watching, I don't know, The Bachelor or whatever show people are watching.
Couch stretch. That's the reason it's called the couch stretch.
Couch stretch. Sit in a deep squat. I don't know. Do literally anything other than just sit. See, look at this right now. I'm stretching my hips out a little bit. Yep. Feels nice.
I always said I don't do it because I stretch my hips.
Actually, that does feel really good if you get a little. Yeah. All right, do this at home if you're not if you're watching.
But yeah, it's frustrating. It's every year, and I know we do these videos every year because every year I get the same questions about the Open because we have newer people. That I actually understand. We get newer people. Every year you telling me you wish you would have gotten your double unders better.
After 1 year, it's I don't think.
I did it to myself a couple of times. And I don't want this to sound like I'm preaching from an ivory tower, but I spent the last, honestly, 2 years working on double unders and wall walks. Last year I didn't get to show off because I was super sick. This year we'll see how my body responds. I'm not expecting it to go great because all the other aforementioned stuff. But I put in the work. I don't even think about double unders when they come up in a workout. High volume still is going to bother me, but for the Open purposes, it should be good. So I'm not worried about wall walks.
Last year, you had double unders? They were kind of here and there.
They were kind of here and there. Yeah. They weren't great. They had improved. Yeah, I wasn't as committed as I needed to be.
I'll say this year, I've seen you bust out some good stuff,
I'm into them quick. Again, nobody's gonna, call me a double under champ, but I've got 30 to 70 relatively unbroken each time I start.
You're confident in
them. I'm confident in them, and I think that's a huge thing when I see them come up in a workout. And honestly, if they come up in a workout this year, I'm probably going to jump 5,000 spots just because I'm going to have a workout where I don't get crushed by the double under. Yep. And that's not going to put me in an age group on the qualifier or anything like that, but
improvement.
improvement, and that's the kind of win, right? That carries us forward, that gives us motivation to take on the next weakness
That was
and push through. Like, I posted on our social media channel, what are your goals? And like, if I can get my shoulder to heal and stay stable, like handstand walking, I want to be able to do, higher capacity ring muscle ups, find a way to cycle handstand push-ups better, improve my snatch, and again, getting a small win, kind of snowballs, waterfalls into getting that next win. Different topic, but Dave Ramsey, the financial guru, which spare you a lot of my rant there, but one of his models is pay off your lowest balance credit card first because it gets a win. Instead of having 10 monthly payments that are all 115, right? And you're trying to pay like 130 on one or 175 on one because the highest balance, like take that lowest balance, pay as much as you can to her every month until that balance is gone. Now we're only paying 9 credit cards. Right. And now we're only paying 8 credit cards.
And even though you've still got 8, it's better than 10.
Yeah, and you still got a mountain, but you've got to win. You get that. It's just powerful. Like psychologists could sit here and opine on why, but to mark something as done or is no longer a weakness or whatever,
or just doing better than you thought you would,
is a huge, huge win, and helps create positive habits. I'm sure I've never read the book, but James Clear, Atomic Habits. I'm willing to bet that's somewhere in there.
I think I have that book. I'll see if I have that book.
I'm willing to bet somewhere in there. He says get a win early in your day.
That's the podcast I was listening to this morning. What's it called? Dog House.
Yeah, Dog Pound.
Dog Pound. They were talking about like Ricky Gerard in the Rogue game, or the Rogue Invitational had that. There was that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 back squat, and they said it was at like 93% of the dudes 1 rep max. Yeah. So like,
but he did all of them unbroken.
He got 18.
Yeah.
So he didn't win, but having done that unbroken set him up for a positive mindset the next day.
Yeah.
And he could have looked at it as like, oh crap, I got 18th. That's stupid. But instead, he chose to look at it as, hey, I did all that unbroken. Like, I didn't know I could do that.
Yep.
So it's just the small wins.
Next topic.
Nutrition.
All right.
Basically, I've just through talking with a lot of our members, and I'm sure you've had the same conversation. A lot of us do good throughout the week, and this is a big thing for me, and that's why I wanted to bring this up. Through the week, I'm good. I don't track as well as I should, but I do a good job of eating pretty much the same thing. I eat pretty clean. And then over the weekends, I have been known to let loose a little bit. So I did a little math, just quick math. So my wife and I like donuts. So, and it's easy for me to creep and it sounds crazy, but 6 donuts in a day is very easy to do. Like glazed donuts, I just grab nutrition on glazed donuts. So I want to throw out just a couple of numbers. If I eat 2,500 calories a day, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, I eat 6 donuts each day. So a dozen donuts over the weekend. That bumps just from those 2 days and those 12 donuts, that bumps my average weekly calories from 2,500 to right at 3,000. Yeah. So I know
that could be the difference between performance and fat storage.
Right. And I know a lot of our members, like throughout the week, we have the discussion of like, I'm good throughout the week. And then on the weekends, maybe you go out and you have a few beers, and then a few beers, you get hungry, you have a burger. After the burger, you go home and you maybe have some ice cream. So that right there is throwing your weekly average up at like a crazy amount. So what I've been trying to do recently is maybe instead of being as strict during the week, like we'll sit down, we'll eat our dinner, and then we'll each have like a little piece of chocolate. Or she bought some cookies from somewhere, so we'll have like a half a cookie each. And that's been a lot better way to keep my weekly average calorie intake low, or lower where I want it. And I've actually, I think, dropped like 7 pounds, but that's also because I'm not eating Christmas.
And you're training a little bit more.
And I'm training a little more, a little harder.
So a couple of things on that from my perspective. One, I have the same. I have a weekend problem, but I have it completely opposite. If I don't have scheduled things in my day, eating gets put on the back burner. Like
Because you undereat.
yeah, and so I'm a chronic undereater. So like Monday through Friday, I've got my daughter at school. I know I need to get up and eat X, Y, Z, and it may not be prototypical breakfast, but this is what I'm going to eat. This is the order that I'm going to eat it. And I know that Monday through Friday. I know I'm going to come in. I'm going to eat another thing once I get to the gym. I'm going to eat my first lunch around 10:30. I'm going to try to eat another one at 2. I've got a snack. I'm going to go home, eat dinner. Got another snack. Got my calories. Pretty much going to hit around 2,800, right? 3,200 if I give myself a treat. Or maybe substitute one of my cooked meals for eating out.
Well,
and that's my pretty much guarantee.
And for these guys, like your goal is you want to gain weight, you want to gain strength. So you're trying to eat an abundance.
And honestly, if we look at my Whoop, it's not that much of an abundance.
Right. No. Well, I mean, what you burn, and that's why it's like.
Yeah, and like my calories, come in at 2,700 to 2,900 on training
a day.
And when I'm actually focused on training, and I haven't actually been tracking my food the last 3 weeks because I haven't been training very hard. So I go back to intuitive eating, and I just kind of go for my body. But on the weekends, Saturday, it's hard for me to get in here because we do our comp training at 7 a.m. So I wake up at 6:15, and it's all I can do to get maybe 100 or 200 calories in before I get in here. Then I go into coaching, and then it's cleaning or doing something else, and I'll get home, at 1, and literally this happened Saturday. And I was like, honey, what is for lunch? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Oh, I haven't made it yet. And like, I don't expect my wife to make me lunch. Don't get me wrong. But I don't want to create my own food if she's got a plan that she's getting ready to cook. And so I'm like, hey, are you doing lunch? And she's like, I can. I'm like, you don't have to. I'm an adult.
I can do it.
But I need to know. And like, I'm fidgety. Like, I know I'm hungry. I got 200 calories today. Right.
Well, especially after like the heavy comp workouts.
Heavy trainings.
Right.
And so like, I'm really struggling. And so I'm just like, and I'm sure I agitated her, but I'm like, I just need food. I don't care what it is. I need
any food will
food.
Work.
And honestly, that's even shocking because 6 months ago, Joe probably wouldn't even care, but because I stretched my stomach out so much during the week. But and then again, like, so let's say my average week is 3,000. I say my average weekend day is 1,500 unless we go out to dinner someplace,
which drops you, to I don't know the math on that, but
it's low.
It drops your average down throughout the week, and that's what that's what's hard to think about. Like, okay, if I have these 6 donuts, or if I don't eat, but 1,200 calories, what's that going to do to my average? And that could be the reason you're not seeing those either weight loss goals that you're wanting or the strength gains that you're wanting, depending on which way you're going with that.
Yeah, and I'd also say, and I'm going to say liquid calories, and we all know I'm talking for the most part about alcohol, but it could be coffee.
It could be
a lot of things you put in there.
Coke,
soda.
If you lay out.
And I'm not even talking about really like the macro or micronutrients or lack thereof in any of those things, and the things that they can do to your hormones or anything like that. I'm simply talking about they have calories.
Yeah. Oh yeah, macro and micro
have a lot. Like, we can talk about what it actually does to your blood and your insulin and your hormone response and your insulin growth factor, testosterone, all those things.
That's like a whole
that's video. A lot of people that are smarter than us, or at least I don't know, more concentrated in that topic. But just on the calorie standpoint,
just calories in,
we can be talking about probably up to 1,200 calories.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, if not more, and people think, "Oh, I didn't eat it. It doesn't count."
Right.
So, like, I'm not a Starbucks person, but I'm willing to bet some of their drinks are 600, 800 calories.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
If not, I would say they had that.
And that ain't leaving you fill. Like, you're still getting that muffin there that
still
was
getting
1,400 calories.
And that's where I get in trouble, is like over the weekend, like I'll eat my, my donuts or my cookies or whatever it is on top of what I'm already eating. And it's like there's no nutritional value in it, so it's like I eat it and I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, like that's just something I've been really trying to work on. And I know other athletes that I've talked to are like, man, I'm great during the week. I just can't figure out why I'm not dropping any weight. It's like, well, let's look at what you're doing
Yeah, definitely
on the
examine it.
weekend. But yeah, I just want you, put it under a microscope a little
And
bit.
something like Carbon, which is the app I use to track mine, right? They literally ask you like if your weekend habits are different. And so you can set your blocks to be a little more restrictive on like Tuesday if you know that you're considerably bad on Saturdays. And so at least when you're logging and thinking about like how many calories you have left, you've planned to deviate on Saturday. Now,
Yeah.
I think all of us would say that like it's better to be more even keel all the way through every day.
Yeah.
But if you can't do that, know that you can't do that and adjust.
You're gonna
so
have
that you're set up for success. Again, when I go into my app and I'm logging Tuesday's calories, my brain's already turned off from the weekend. But if on Sunday I had set it and I had lowered my calories or my allowable stuff on Tuesday, as I'm tracking throughout my day, I say, whew, I've only got about 30% left.
I better
down. Make sure these are actually good calories,
right,
and not fleeting fill calories.
Well, I just so I googled it real quick. 12 ounces of a Budweiser, so one can of Budweiser is 150 calories.
Yeah, and that's the heavy, and like Michelob Ultra, I love it's 95.
Yeah. But you just, you have to be mindful of things like that.
Yeah, it may go down like water, but it's got calorie content.
It does. and I don't want anyone to think that they have to like sit there and only eat, broccoli and chicken. But
I had ice cream last night.
Yeah, and there is like, and it comes down to like it's stereotypical like moderation.
Yep.
Sounds cliche, but it's moderation.
And I come from the standpoint of because I allow myself treats like this, I don't crave them as much.
Yeah, and
because I know I will always allow myself a treat if I really want one. And so for me, the cravings aren't that bad. Like I used to be hyper addicted to Swiss cake roll Little Debbie's.
Oh, those are
especially when I wasn't the one stocking the cabinet because I never knew when I could get another one.
Right.
So I'd eat them every time I could possibly sneak one. Now that I'm in control of all that and I decide, when and what I eat, it's just not as much of almost like an adrenaline rush to go along with the dopamine rush. Like I felt like I was like sneaking a dessert.
And like this is taboo.
I wouldn't say my parents like, once I met my step parents were like more rigid on food. I just felt like there was more rules and like I wasn't allowed dessert. So then I had to be sneaky about dessert.
Right. So it was like,
and so it created like a bad relationship with food.
Yeah, I'll say it's kind of set you up for failure on that one.
Again, I got adrenaline and dopamine and all that other things, and so and I'm not saying I'm doing it right or wrong, but I let my kids eat what they want to eat, and we talk about, was it good or was it bad? But I don't want them to have this relationship where like they feel like they have to hide if they want some ice cream.
Yeah, and that like just to be very upfront with everyone, like my relationship with food even still is not great. And that's what I'm working on. I noticed for me, like I am better off giving myself like a little piece of chocolate or half a cookie or whatever it is every single night. Because I found out that if I'm just super strict, hyper strict during the week, on the weekend, I'm more likely to, binge eat or just go for, no quality, just all the bad stuff because it's like, well, I don't get this for another week. I better get as much as I can now. So figure out what works for you. And just to throw it out before I forget, like anytime you make a change to your diet, it's going to be uncomfortable. Like when Joe started eating more, how long would it take? 2 weeks of you just being miserably full.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 2 weeks, you're like, okay, this isn't bad. It just took about 2 weeks for your stomach to stretch and adjust to that. Same goes for me, only vice versa. When I'm actually dropping calories, like there are probably 2 weeks where I'm like, man, I just feel hungry all the time.
Yeah.
And after about a couple of weeks, I get used to that new amount. So anytime you change it, it is going to be uncomfortable. If you don't know how much to change it or how much to add or subtract, talk to one of us. We'd be more than happy to help you. But just know it's just like anything in the gym. Like it's going to be challenging.
And I have to add on to that, and that is, we literally say it every single day in the gym. When we change your technique, it's not easier.
Nope.
It's better for your long-term success. We don't expect it to go well. I mean, I don't know how many different ways we can say this, but the change is never comfortable. That's why it's a change.
That's why you change.
But
that's why it needs to be changed.
Yeah, but you either trust the person that's giving you the advice and telling you to change, or you don't. I would think we've earned your respect both on nutrition and exercise behaviors, to where you would just change and just trust the process. And again, know that we're gonna have deviations. You're gonna have breakdowns. Change doesn't happen immediately, and if it does, it probably wasn't very worthwhile.
Right. It probably wasn't the change that needed to be made.
You're gonna have exceptions. You're gonna fall off, and that's our job, to be relentless and to keep being at you. But we can only be relentless if we see any investment whatsoever in listening, and trying to do stuff. So
that's like if we sit down and have an hour and a half discussion with someone about nutrition, and then at the very end of that hour and a half of our free time, they say, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that."
It shuts us down for everybody.
It's really hard to then have that discussion with anyone else, or you again when you decide that you actually do want to do it. So just be open. But we'd be more than, like, the only person that wants you to succeed more than you is us, unfortunately.
Yeah, and for a lot of you, honestly, it really shouldn't be that way, but I can guarantee that I can think of several people in my head that I want to succeed more than they want to succeed right now.
And that goes for open prep, working on skills. We want you to get these skills more than you want them, or just as bad.
And it's just because we know the path. We've already been on the path. We've seen the path. We know what it's frustrating when you didn't put in the work.
Well, we know it's like,
and what not just from our personal experience, but from the 300, 500, 800 other athletes we've coached in our career, and we've seen the same thing play out every single time. I joke, but it's really hard to, like, for the most part, I know how a lot of your journeys end within 2 weeks of meeting you.
Yeah.
Again, every once in a while I get shocked, but and it's why we keep trying so hard, because we see the path. We don't want it to be your path.
No. We want your fitness and health and all
it's
that.
It's really hard to change. And I'm not, again, you're not broken because you didn't change. We're trying really hard to get you to change, because we know how life altering it is.
Yeah, how powerful all of it is. Which is probably why it's so difficult.
Oh yeah,
it's because but it's worth it.
It's so rewarding, both from the person that actually lives the change and for the people that help you make the change. It is, honestly, it's become the new drug. For ex-drug users, like, it is a high to watch somebody get a new skill.
Oh yeah.
To achieve something, to get off diabetes medicine,
to just be able to chase their grandkids, or children, or whatever it is.
To not be in an assisted living center at an early age. Those are the things that keep us coming here. Again, PRs and body weight snatches are great, and I'm never gonna not celebrate them.
Friday was a fun day.
Yeah. So, last thing, and this is going back to the topic, and I saw this from a gym advisor, and it's one that we honestly make fun of actually a lot for a lot of his nonsense. But he said, and I've tried to think about it like this, but he's like, he said it in an easier way, and it's just like, what's your win for a day? And I think a lot of times for members, especially if you're not one of the top performers on the leaderboard, you can do great on the workout and you compare yourself. And, everybody knows the quote, comparison is the thief of joy. What I'd like to see you do, and at least when I'm coaching, I'm going to try to remember and remind you, is choose your win for this workout today, and then win at no cost, right? So, like, it may be a workout where it's double unders, or it's toes to bar, or it's barbell, and your win, let's say it's the barbell, and your win is, even when I rest, I'm going to hold on to the barbell. And do it at all costs.
No matter what.
No matter what. Do it. Don't negotiate with yourself. You get to set up your win, your goal. It has no impact on me. It's not the stimulus of the workout. It's nothing. Give yourself a win. Choose a win for your workout, and then win it. See how that carries on the rest of your day. To me, it's as simple as, again, plenty of probably ex-military say this all the time. When you wake up, make your damn bed. Just make it. Make your bed. Because all day long, again, and it sounds silly, you're going to think about, man, at least my bed's made. Right?
Yes.
Like when I come home, my bed's made. I get to come and lay into a nice made bed. I don't have to worry about my bedroom being disheveled. And that just gives you peace. It resolves anxiety. It gives you a sense of happiness or satisfaction or, task priority. I've already gotten one task done, and it switches your mindset and gets that going in the right way. So this week, and I'd love it if you continue, but this week, choose your win for your workout. I tell you to start on Monday, but honestly, based on how long these videos take to upload,
start on next Wednesday. Next Wednesday.
Start next open when we finally get this video uploaded to YouTube.
Start whenever you see it. Maybe we'll have to just say that in the briefing.
Yeah.
Every briefing.
And we'll say it. And if you haven't watched these videos, which, considering there's 160 of you and 28 people watched our last video, the odds are you didn't see this video.
Tell someone.
And then I was talking to Matt Jones, and I guess in David Goggins' new book, which I haven't read.
I have it at home. I just haven't started it.
He was talking about when you wake up first thing in the morning, grab a recorder and record everything you don't want to do and all your little minor complaints.
You mean like a voice recorder?
Voice recorder.
For whatever.
No.
I was like, that's a terrible way to start your morning.
And just be like, I don't want to get up. I want to go to work. This workout's stupid. I hate it. My neck hurts. I slept wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Say all that.
The dog woke me up.
Yeah. As soon as you're done, rewind it, hit play, listen to it. Tell me how you feel. Because you're going to hate yourself. You are going to sound like a petty, whiny little child. And you're going to realize no matter how bad it is, it's all right.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Your complaints are pretty minor. Get your butt out of bed. Get going on your day. We live in the easiest, softest world. And listen, I get it. Some country may have it worse, but I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to you, the local dude that lives in Columbia, Missouri. You live in the softest, most comfortable time in human history.
Yeah.
Like, toughen up, Peter Pan.
I mean, I got my days, but it is like perspective. You look at it like broad, you're like, this is not.
I don't have to worry about getting ate by a fucking bear when I walk outside.
Or like I don't know, getting murdered.
Yeah, like it's all right.
Always.
I mean, I guess if you watch the news, you probably believe there's like
stop watching.
People are getting murdered and abducted all over the place.
Do
but
like local news, but like don't watch it.
I wouldn't even watch local news, honestly.
Either. Spend that time reading David Goggins' book.
Spend that time doing anything else.
Or recording
turn
yourself.
Off the news.
He's not paying. Well, he's not a paid sponsor of this show.
Even if it's life-changing news, you can't actually do anything about it. So
just read a book instead. Like any book.
Oh, I do it to follow politics. Why? You're not going to change them. They're corrupt. Move on.
Yeah. Take away from this video. Work on skills. Talk to us. Stop watching the news.
Yeah. I'm happier. I never watch the news.
Yeah.
And if you share the news on your social media,
unfollow.
Bye.
Unfollow.
You may be my best friend, but I don't care. I don't want to see it. I have no desire to know anything about the news.
You could tell me if it's changed.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only news I want to know is like, is an ice storm coming?
Yeah, that way I can buy up all the bread and milk.
Is Tia Toomey gonna be in Columbia looking for gyms to drop into?
Okay, that'd be news.
That's news I want.